Gang, you are very, very welcome back to the Iron Mindset. I am, as always, your host, Iron Ian. So, for today, we are going to have a quick discussion. We are discussing 5 things that may be ruining your gains in the gym. Now, you may have noticed we are once again back in the kitchen. I slightly changed the angle from the last video. This is where I set up when I was on the Strength Syndicate podcast with Lawrence and Shane Story, Lawrence King and Shane Story. If you have not checked that out, you can find that across on their YouTube channel or Shane's YouTube channel. If you just look up Strength Syndicate, Iron Ian, I'm sure that'll come up. If you haven't as well, please do check out the Motion Masters podcast, where I was the guest on the pilot episode with my good friend, fellow powerlifter and trainer Mario Morelli. So we'll get straight into today's topic. It's 5 things that are ruining your gains or could be ruining your gains. It's a bit of a, purposefully fiery title to try and entice people in. Let's have a little bit of a chat. So these observations come from somebody who's worked both as, a standard PT and coach, as well as somebody who operates on the gym floor, deals with people in a commercial gym. So I've had the pleasure of working alongside or training alongside a variety of different people. Everyone from young people joining the gym for the first time, or older folks that are coming in, just to be able to learn to squat properly, as well as, the myriad of great powerlifting athletes I've worked with in abs powerlifting, training alongside those guys, some of the best powerlifters, not just in the country, but the world. As well as that, then I do know a whole host of the likes of CrossFit athletes, weightlifters, a lot of good people from a lot of different backgrounds, and universally across the board, what most people agree on that are making progress. I'm just moving my phone over so I can make sure I've got my list. This is probably the most organized I've ever been. So the biggest thing that all good athletes will agree on, all people that have gotten in shape or improved their lives through the gym will say, you need a program. So if you're going into the gym right now and you've no plan, you might know, I'm going to go in and do chest. And you go in and just do whatever's free or whatever exercises come to you, or shoulders or legs, not that you ever train legs, or core or whatever, but you've no specific plan. You are wasting a lot of time and stagnating progress you could be making. Now, if you're already going to the gym, even without a plan, but you're going consistently, you will conceivably make some progress because you're training. But you would be way better served forking out for a program from a coach, or even just download a free template online. I know the Johnny Candido 6-week program is free to download. Jacob, who works in FlyFit now and is getting a little bit of coaching from me, good guy, he will be competing at Ab Series 8, I believe, in November. He ran the Candido 6-week and made some good gains off it. So that is a free template program that's 6 weeks long that you can run. If you want something a little bit more custom, or you want to work directly with a trainer, approach a coach or trainer in your gym. There's a whole myriad of online coaches I've mentioned before. Maybe you don't want to fork out for a PT, but you want to have somebody do your programming. As I've mentioned before, 2 off the top of my head: Shane Story, as I mentioned, Complex Coaching Systems, George Dunn, all very great, competent guys you could absolutely stand to benefit from. If you want to go more the route of really leaning into your nutrition and things like that, you could speak to Ben Crowell. So, there's a whole host of guys there that are very willing to give you the dig out. I myself will be taking on clients online as well. That starts in August. So if this video is out before August, you now know from August I will be taking coaching clients online. So getting on a program absolutely is number one. Without that, you are leaving so many gains on the table. So if you haven't yet, for the love of God, please try it. Try 8 to 12 weeks on a structured training plan with some progression in it, all right? And it will make a world of difference. Now, not a separate point, but in keeping with that is program hopping. If you go from a new program every 3 weeks or 2 weeks or whatever, you're like, I want to try something else. I want to try this. I want to try that. Look, you're not going to be a bodybuilder and a powerlifter and a CrossFitter and a track and field athlete all at the same time. You need to run a program to completion to yield the results from it. Usually, this is what I'll generally encounter with people, is that they want it all now. So what they want, if I've got somebody in for a training cycle that's focused particularly on, let's say, improving their overall movement. I'll give you an example. There was a lady I spoke to recently enough. not in flight, but just another lady who approached me about doing a program for her. Did her up a little free template, no problem. And the primary focus of this lady's wouldn't be in amazing shape, but she's quite athletic. She does have good movement. So our goal was to load through the patterns she had. So the squat, the deadlift, the overhead press, the row, and then a couple of variations, or a couple of accessory movements like loaded planks, back extension, things like that. But then it was like, oh, but what if I also want to bench press? I want to do lat pull downs. I want to try practice a pull up, and I want to do more cardio to do some condition. It's like, focus on one thing at a time. Let's do this for 4 to 8 weeks. See how you get on. Then we can make micro adjustments to this plan to keep you progressing. So please don't program hop. You can't include everything all at once. Incidentally, from that story, I have since seen that person try and, hanging out of bars, doing pull ups and lat pull downs and things like that. And it's not that these things are a waste of time. It's not. But when it comes to programming, you want to start on something that is sustainable, so a regime you can keep to and progress on. If you start down the road, like most people do when they go to the gym, is they start trying to go all the time, 6 days a week, twice a day, 3-hour sessions or whatever, but they're really trying to kill themselves or do a lot of conditioning. And I realized 3 or 4 weeks in, like, I can't keep doing this. So the result, the workload's unsustainable. So any results yielded from it will also be unsustainable. And this can be very discouraging for people. You do not need to wreck yourself to see progress in the gym. You just need to go consistently over time. So that would be a very, very big point, would be consistency, which brings us on to point number 2, which another thing ruining your gains is you're inconsistent. You've got those weeks you feel good, you train 5 times, the next week you train maybe 5 times as well, and then you're getting a little tired, so maybe you go 3 times. Then the next week you're super busy and you deferred your sessions out to later in the week, so you end up only going once. And you try to go a little more the next week, but only ends up being twice, and then you miss completely the next week, and then you try to get back in 3 times. You're really trying to fight your way back up to 5 times. But as you can see, over the course of those weeks, you are not going consistently, so therefore the results cannot be a consistent progress. This is what I always say to people when it comes to the gym, all right? I always ask people when they begin, can they commit to 3 days, 4 days, 5 days? People usually say, yeah, 3 to 4 days I could commit to. So I said, grand, we'll do 3 days. And I go, oh no, I might be able to do 4 days. I was like, oh, I don't care about might. You can definitely do 3. So that's the deal. We can add more later. We can add that later. You're going to make results in 3 days. So we try to get people to commit to the idea of going 3 times a week. And if we can get on that consistently, without all this undulation, I will say to them, so if you're going 3 times a week, in the course of a month, you should definitely be hitting 12 sessions. So when you look at it, like I've got a big empty calendar here somewhere behind me. If you were to put a circle on the days you went, or a big red X on the days you didn't, on days you were meant to, see how many X's you have versus how many circles. It's not as big of a commitment as you may think. So as an aside to inconsistency, try to identify where it is you fall down. So what a lot of people tend to do is they tend to defer the gym until later in the day after work because they don't want to lose out on the sleep, which I completely respect. I get that. But what will happen is that other bullshit throughout the day will get in the way. They'll be asked to stay and work later. They'll be hungry. They'll be tired. They'll be thirsty. They'll say, I'll just go home and have my dinner first and I'll come back out. And sure, all you're doing is putting more and more and more and more bullshit in the way of you and the workout. All right? You are better off going to the gym for 30 to 40 minutes on your lunch break and bashing out a fucking workout that you can commit to than, this hypothetical 1.5 to 2 hour workout you're planning to do after work that might never come because sometimes you don't go. Same with in the morning. Yeah, sure, you're probably going to be you're more full, have more water, you're more capable in the afternoon or the evening than you probably were in the morning. But your mental fatigue in the evening will mean that you probably won't go. So again, you're better off having a less than 100% optimal workout in the morning than no workout at all in the evening. So consider that as a little piece of advice. So yeah, number 2 is you're inconsistent. Get consistent. Find a number of days that is achievable every single week with only minor exceptions. So it could be 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. It doesn't matter. As long as you can commit to it, you can make progress. But make sure it's a priority. Book the time with yourself. If you made an appointment, you would show up. Book the appointment with yourself. one of the things many people I train point out about PT is that it keeps them consistent because they're booking in to see me. So they know if they don't, it's gonna like waste my time, cost them money, etc. So the best thing they can do, or the best thing they've really gotten out of it, other than the excellent company and the fantastic coaching, is that they've also gotten adherence because they are now responsible to somebody else or accountable to somebody else. So bear that in mind. Book the appointment with yourself, and if adherence is a problem, do try with a coach. All right, so we move on to point number 3, and that is you're not tracking. You're not tracking your workouts. You're not tracking your food. So what do I mean by tracking workouts? In abs, I actually may even have it here to show you. Yeah, we track all of our workouts in one of these. So I've got like stickers all over mine, all right? And what we do is every time we work out or train or whatever we hit in our training, we will log. So I do mine like this. Abs is not mostly like a 4-day program. I've mine split into 6 days because sometimes I like to do extra accessory work on the non-main days. Now, I haven't been doing that at all really in this training cycle, just with being back in work. We're very busy. But previously, like during the first couple of lockdowns, I had a lot more time to train. So I'd probably do a 5th or 6th day of like 20 or 30 minutes, just a bit of arms and shoulders. But generally speaking, my 4 main days are pre-written into that as from the program I'm provided with by Abs Powerlifting. I'll write them into the diary and I'll keep a record of the numbers I hit. So I now have a reference point going back. I believe I started this diary. I'll tell you exactly when the first session was. The first session in this diary was Tuesday, 17th of December, 2019. So that's the first workout in that book. And I've recorded basically, almost every workout. There's a couple of workouts during the first lockdown that I didn't record because I was training a bit all over the place because we didn't know what the hell was going on. But in any case, track your damn workout so you can see progress over time. What I use for my clients is something called True Coach. So with True Coach, they can record their own numbers as they train, and there's an option to view exercise history. So they can go back and look through all their track workouts, say for the deadlift, how they've progressed on the deadlift over time, and it can be quite an uplifting thing to see. Oh, well, geez, I am making progress. So track your damn workouts. It'll give you a range you should be working in. So most good programs will come with something like RPE, reps in reserve, or a certain guideline on the stimulus you're going for here. So for example, you could have, high bar back squat, 3x8, RP7, 2 to 3 minute rest. Tempo is 3-0-1-2. You know what I mean? Which would be a nice slow descent, no pause in the bottom, come up, brief pause at the top to reset, and come down. And I want them around an RP7, which would be about a difficulty of 7 out of 10. So between the first and the last rep, we want to see a little bit of bar slow down. So the first rep might be quite fast. Last rep, we probably start to see it slow down a good bit. Last 2 reps maybe. So that's the point. Yeah, you want to have some guidelines like that on your program. But in any case, track your damn workouts if you're not doing it already. Going in, just going, yeah, I don't have a program. I don't know what I'm doing. I haven't been here in 2 weeks. And I have no idea what I did last time I was here because I'm inconsistent. I don't have a program and I don't track. Same with your food. You don't have to count calories, but it's a damn helpful tool. If you've never tried counting calories before, I would absolutely recommend for at least a month, track your food on MyFitnessPal. Now, don't use the calories that it gives you, and don't bother hooking it up to your Fitwatch because it doesn't matter how many calories you're burning when you work out. You shouldn't be trying to eat those back. You can work with a trainer, or you can use your own calorie calculator online and get a rough estimate of what your resting calories are, your BMR, your standard amount of calories, and then multiply whatever number it gives you for your BMR by your average activity levels. So that's a rough guideline. Now look, calorie counting and all nutrition is trial and error. Everyone is a unique individual, and through iteration, a coach can help guide you towards the macronutrient split between proteins, fats, carbs that will work for you. Same with the amount of fiber you need to intake. All these things are dealt with over time. There's no way to know exactly what your maintenance calories are because firstly, that's a range. It's not a fixed number. And, you might only require a very small deficit to lose weight, where somebody might require a greater one. Same with bulking. Somebody might require more or less. So that's a unique experience over iteration. Again, this is why I say to people, get a coach, because a coach can cut all that homework out for you and do the work for you, help you figure these things out along the way. All you got to do is go, yes, coach, and follow along. So yeah, track your workouts, track your damn food. Otherwise, it's all just a guess. Like if I ask you at any given time, how much protein do you eat per day? And you can't give me an exact grammage, not exact, like a rough range. Like I can tell you per day, I have a minimum of 200 grams of protein because I track my damn food. So I know I'm always getting about 200 grams. On like a bad day where if I'm not really tracking or I'm like eating out a bit more, I would usually still get around 160 because I know on average the portion sizes I'd be having for like my beef, chicken, etc. And I'd always make some of my own meals, so I'll know what my baseline is. But my minimum most days when I track is 200, and I usually sometimes get that up as high as 250. I'm not saying you need to eat that much specifically. This is a very unique thing, unique to the individual, but yeah, you should be tracking workouts, you should be tracking macros, and as I mentioned, work with a damn coach if you need help with this, because they should be providing those services. All right. The fourth contributing factor to why you're not making any gains or you're ruining your gains is you have no goal outside of aesthetics. So what that means is, other than trying to look better, you've nothing else driving you to do this, to go places, to do these things. And this is the problem. I've personally been there before. If you listen to my guest appearance on the Strength Syndicate podcast, you'll know I talked about it. I got more aesthetic gains when I started focusing on powerlifting than I ever did when I was trying to just, get more aesthetic. Your body will change over time at a very steady rate. Your body isn't this thing that you can transform. Transformations don't exist. If you want to have long-term, sustainable results, this is something that will happen over the course of months and maybe even years. It takes behavioral change, cognitive change, physical change. All these things change slowly over time as your perception shifts, your adherence to the process shifts, and you start to integrate these changes into your life as just part of your normal life. So my advice would be, adopt a goal that is not strictly related to aesthetics. I want to become a better squatter. I want to be a stronger deadlifter. I want to be, I want to have a better 5K. I want to have a better minute mile or whatever the hell they're called. You know what I mean? Whatever these cardiovascular goals are, I would know nothing about. Give yourself a athletic based challenge. So I want to be able to do a pull-up. I want to be able to do a set of pull-ups. Things like that. Things you can work towards tangibly that will have the synergistic effect of also helping you get fitter and stronger, but aren't strictly related on something that you need to rely on a mirror to see. It's a tangible thing you can experience. Wow, I can do pull-ups now. I couldn't do those 3 months ago. Wow, I can do a set of pull-ups now. No, I don't need a band. I can squat deeper. I can squat more weight. I can deadlift more weight. I can bench for more reps. These are all things you can do and improve on without ever needing your physique to change meaningfully for you over a short period of time. You can let that just unravel over a longer period of time. So don't worry so much about aesthetics. And if you are an aesthetic-based person, you need to look harder at your diet and your overall training volume, because that brings me on to number 5 on this list, which is you are majoring in the minors. What that means is you come into the gym and you're so happy and you're running in, you're going to get your workout in, and the first thing you do is start doing cable crossovers or, single arm side laterals. Or cable bicep curls at a quarter rep. I am not saying you have to squat, bench, and deadlift. You don't have to do any specific move in the gym, but your priority should be on the bigger, more difficult, more intense moves first. So your big, let's go complete it away. Let's say one of your big moves that day is belt squat or leg press. That's what you want to hit first. And then you've got some, dumbbell incline bench press. Sure, go hit that next. And you got some leg extensions and hamstring curls. You're going to go pretty heavy on it. And then for the rest, you're just going to blast out a shoulder finisher or whatever. I don't know. I'm literally picking this out of the air. The point I'm making is that start with the biggest things first and make sure you're doing those things pretty much every time you're in the gym based on whatever your program is, which is something you should be getting. So if this was in the aspect of powerlifting, I'm not going to go in and start my workout with bicep curls. I'm going to go in and probably start with squats or deadlift. And then I'll probably do bench. And then I'll do my big accessories like my pendlay rows or my, what else might we have in there? My leg press, my hack squat, my belt squat, my RDLs or whatever might be in there. And then I'll go in and do like my broy stuff, like my lat pull downs, my seated row, my face pulls, my overhead tricep extensions, my bicep curls. Do you understand? You don't need to go in there and blast your arms first thing in a workout. You need to actually go do the big moves first. Get the big, more bang for your buck, more muscles used moves first. And then, by all means, towards the end of your workout, go hit all your biceps and all that shit. So don't go into the gym and go in and start majoring, doing a full hour session on just training a set of biceps when you've no chest, no shoulders, no legs, and no arse. All right? So that is the 5 pieces of advice I would have. Get a program. Stay consistent. Track your workouts and food. What the hell else did I say? This is how you know I don't edit this crap. 1 second. Boom. Get on a program. Be consistent with the program. Track your workouts and track your food. Have a goal outside of strictly looking better and trying to have a six-pack or whatever the hell you're after, or a bigger arse. And make sure you're hitting the big moves. Don't major in the minors. Be a major league player. Hit the big stuff. All right. That's that video. How long was I talking? 30 minutes. All right, so longer than I thought I'd go for. But in any case, gang, thank you so much for tuning in. As usual, you can find me over on Instagram at IronIanPT. Be sure to check out some of the other videos. I should probably mention, I put videos at the end of these videos. At the end of these videos, I put like the links up. I think they're going to be about here. Click on one of them and watch them. Give it a like and make sure you leave a comment, all right? Catch you next time.